So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another video of Is It That Bad, where we take a look at an album that maybe has had bad reviews, or maybe an album that maybe has had no reviews because no one knew it existed except Chilli here. So, we're talking about an album that I've never heard of this band before, but it's called Thor-Ride of the Iron Horse. And this came out, I believe, in March of this year. So this album
Yep.
cover, it's something else. So Shili, before we start with the round, tell me, uh, how did you discover this?
I discovered this by chance when I was going through what albums I should really do a review on. And, the word Thor kind of strikes you as this very strong sounding band name. And, I looked at the album cover, I'm like, oh God, this is surely going to be some kind of nostalgia trip to the 80s or something here. It looks kind of, I don't know, Man of War-esque with that kind of cover. And yeah, so I decided to go and listen to this band. Never heard of them before. And well, I don't want to give too much away, but it was an intriguing listen. And the background behind the guy was even more curious as well because, the musician, the main person of this whole band is John Michael Thor. He goes by the name of Thor. He's this Canadian bodybuilder. And he won like Mr. Canada and Mr. USA titles during his bodybuilding career. So yeah, this guy's been around doing like weightlifting for all these decades and he does screenwriting, all this stuff, and he's got a band, and this band's been around for close to 5 decades. It's just this weird collage of what the hell is going on here. So yeah, very interesting band when I started doing a little bit of Wikipedia search on them. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm wondering, JC, did you hear of this band before?
Yeah, I listened to it like the weekend it came out, and I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll do a review of this. But after listening to a couple of songs, I decided against it and I chose something else. It was just it just I didn't want to like do a whole video on it just
Yeah, you
because
felt like this is for Is It
I
That
didn't think it was worthy, huh? Huh?
Yeah. Those who are worthy of four pick the hammer. And Nick, I'm sure you had never listened to this before in your life.
No, I'd never listened to this album or this band before, and I'm actually surprised because I thought Chili. I thought that that with this band that maybe it was like a deep cut band that you'd like to, listen to back in the day, maybe kind of like an in joke or something that you had with some friends or something like
No.
remember this really bad band or something. But yeah, I'd never heard this before, and it was an interesting listen to say the least.
Chile's just a
Mhm.
masochist. So,
Oh
so,
yeah.
so yeah, so that's the background. And so, yeah, that's the cover, which is epic. So, Chile, where in Canada is he from? Maybe he lives near Nick.
I think it's like Vancouver or something like that. I'm just checking here
Yeah.
on. Yeah, it says
Yeah.
Vancouver.
Yeah, well, I'm near Toronto, so yeah, he's on the other side of the country. So,
Good
but
for
he
you, man.
it
Good for
makes me
you.
ashamed to be
Good, good.
Canadian.
Is
It's all right.
this is the worst thing to
All right,
happen
you still got
in
Nickelback,
Canada
don't you?
since Celine
Yes.
Dion.
Yeah.
Or Terence and Philippe from South Park. So yeah, this is everyone who has seen Is It That Bad? You know the drill. We have the 3 rounds. The first round where we give our first impressions of when we listen to this. Then the second round where we pick 3. And I'm going out of a limb here, but I think we can pick 4 tracks for this record. If
Oh yeah.
I could pick 4 tracks. And the final round where we give it a thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down, and we give our final thoughts. So since Chile made us listen to this, like Chile, start us off with first round and your first impressions of this.
Yeah, of course. So it is with great sorrow that I joined this panel for this episode, but hey, here we are. But besides JC, maybe I guess you mentioned that you had listened to this episode, sorry, this album back in the day. I'd yeah, easily say I probably heard the most out of this band. So yeah, I don't want to, I guess, retread the past. I decided instead when I approached this episode, or rather when you sent me the invite, I would try a fresh approach And for me, I went back and listened to their top pick songs, like their best of collection going through it. And I had to ask myself, were they worthy? Not really. They were pretty mid-tier stuff, but there was some interesting songs though, going back over their past catalogs, I should say. Um, like we mentioned before, this album was my first introduction to Thor, and I think any Thor fans out there will definitely be having words about this one because there is some reasons. But the past songs, it's an interesting collage of weird stuff, and there's even one song that was a blatant rip-off of a Cream song. I think it actually mixes a bunch of various riffs in there, but I think it's Cream or Led Zeppelin. Anyway, it's very weird stuff. But amongst the mostly forgettable tunes, there were a few that weren't too bad. This band is kind of like this eclectic B-grade movie director going for all the weird stuff, and they just cover all these rock and roll genres through their decades of existence. This album we are reviewing is a mixture of new material and B-sides taken from all the way back to, I guess, it's the late 70s, I think. And it makes me wonder who was asking for this release. And considering that the album came out mere days after the 1st of April, then I think that is all there has to be said about this album. So I'm going to plead the fifth before I give my answer away, and I'll pass it along to someone else.
Interesting. So let's go with you, Nick. First impressions of this.
Well, like I said, this guy makes me ashamed to be Canadian. It's a real shame. He's making us all look bad up here. But yeah, I never listened to this guy. Obviously there's a little bit of the Thor connection. There's the Marvel connection there, and Chilli's from Australia. Chris Hemsworth from Australia, also known as Thor. So
Yeah.
there's that connection going on there as
Look
well.
at this, man.
That is great. Which one's Loki? Is Loki in the band too, or
Yeah, he's off to the right. He's off to the left, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, there you
It
go.
looks like Loki from the 80s. Is that Lars there off to the middle right?
I, I, I don't know. Like the guy in the middle, he looks like a bad version of Dolph Lundgren's He-Man from the 1980s movie.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, maybe He-Man, there'd be more of a lawsuit involved, right? Because Thor is a Norse god, right? So I'm not sure what the copyright is for that. But I thought this guy sounded a little bit like a bad Alice Cooper. Did anybody else get that kind of vibe? A little bit of that talky kind of delivery. And
I was thinking Iggy Pop.
Yeah, a little bit of Iggy Pop in there as well. And I was thinking, like, does this guy need some sort of psychiatric help? Because this is delusionally bad.
Yeah.
Like, there's this lack of self-awareness. Like, do they know that it's bad? Because there's a lot of kind of tongue-in-cheek metal bands out there right now, Steel Panther and bands like that, where it's it is metal, but it's very much tongue-in-cheek and a little bit humor oriented. So I'm like, is he going for that kind of thing on this record? Is it supposed to be bad? I'm not really sure. When I was listening to this, and it's not even when you think about it, it's not even a real album. It's just cobbled together. There's some, I think, current studio tracks mixed with songs from the 70s, from the 90s, from the 2000s, and I'm thinking he can't even put together an entire album's worth of new tracks for an entire album.
I have a question for you, Nick.
Yeah.
Do you want a newer album with also new material?
Yes, I demand that Thor release all new material when we're going to listen to an album. But I don't know about you guys, but I had to take like frequent breaks when listening to this record. I would listen to like 2 songs, go listen to something else to cleanse my palate, make sure the Spotify algorithm didn't start recommending me nonstop Thor all the time. And this again is a horrible listening experience. We had to listen to 50 minutes of Trapped last week, which was torture in of itself, and then we had to listen to 50 minutes of this. So it's we're torturing ourselves as YouTube music reviewers.
This is what we do on Is It That Bad? We take one for not even the team.
This is what happened to my headphones after I listened to Trapped. Wow. And I'm pretty sure Thor are the reason that Trapped exists. So
Yeah. But the guy, this is how the guy looks now.
Shut up.
That's how he looks now. Oh my God. I can't even share the picture right. I don't think who would, it's something.
Was that a wig? I hope so.
Yeah, he looks like it's
It
weird.
puts
Yeah.
the lotion on its skin again.
So Nick, if you're trying to come to the States and they say you cannot pass, you're damn for you. You got
Yeah.
Canadians banned
Yeah,
from
exactly.
from entering the States.
Yeah.
So JC, your initial thoughts listening to this?
Yeah, this was my first time listening to Thor. I had known about the band. I had heard the name before, but I never went out and listened to any of their albums. Like they've been around a long time. I think their first album was like from like 1973. Like I think it was, and then like
Yep.
they had albums like in like the 70s. They were like off and on. And if you look at their like, on their Wikipedia page, they have like 20 albums, or I didn't count them, but they have
Yeah,
like a lot
shitload.
of albums. Yeah. But I never listened to them. When this came out, when it came out back in April, I guess, I listened to it once, and like I was saying before, I didn't really like want want to do a full review of it. I think it's very like weird. I was expecting like traditional heavy metal. I was expecting something along the lines of Manowar. But there's so
Saxon.
much. I was like, I make my notes. I like make notes for like every track, and I'm like writing things like some of it sounds like country, some of it sounds like metal, some of it sounds like rap and new wave, and I'm like, there's a power ballad, and I'll be talking about that in like the next round and all that. And then there's like all the stuff from like those B-sides from like the 80s, and you would think like they would sound like different, or maybe like there was a time when they sounded good, but it's kind of sounds the same. Like they've been like playing this kind of music for like 50 years, or I guess, but that's what it appears. I mean, I'm not gonna listen to all their albums, but
God.
I mean, I imagine like
JC,
I guess like all of their albums sound like this. It would be interesting if
are you
anyone
telling me
has
you
ever
don't
like
want to
listened to
do
every
like a countdown?
a ranking.
Like
Do a
a
ranking.
Thor
Oh,
retrospective?
I don't think I don't think anybody has ever done a Thor ranking on YouTube. If I
Oh,
did it, I'd be the
jeez.
first
That's
one.
an untapped market right there. You got to get
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the first time I listened to his band is because JC did a review on his channel, and he dared me to do an Is It That Bad? And I was like, oh, if he's daring me, I'm like, I thought about it, and I kept putting it off. I'm like, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's listen to four. And my question is like, who's the market for this? Who
Mm.
who is asking for this music? Like when I saw on Wikipedia that they had so many years music, I'm like, how the hell? I've never heard of this band. I'm like that. This is like an Anvil, but the Anvil story that they made Anvil look good.
Oh yeah.
Well, actually, the first couple of albums by Anvil are actually pretty good. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Handful of Canadian as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
Canadian as well. Yeah, like but there's good bands in Canada, people.
What is it with Canadian 80s heavy metal that is just like
I, I don't know, but when I was listening to this album, first I thought, like, are these songs serious or is this a joke? Because because when we did Green Jelly here, and we know it's a joke. We did Bloodhound Gang, and we know it's supposed to be funny and stuff, but catchy. And we did, I think we did another band that's supposed to be like type of funny, but this one I'm thinking like they're like serious, man. I don't think these are joke songs. The sound of for people who don't listen to it, this sounds like your like mid 50 to 60s like retired dads that are that are playing the local pub that no one goes to over four. Everyone there is over 50, and they're like, oh yeah, let's play some songs, and there's like five people there watching them. That's what to me this band sounds like. So the first time I listened to this was this week. I didn't listen to. I saw Chili's reviews and I stayed away from it. I'm like, there's nothing that makes me want to listen to this, but I'm like, I'll do it for Is It That Bad? So yeah, I listened to this and uh, I have no words of what I was listening to. Like, it's funny because I used to play. There's some friends of mine that we used to have like a band for jokes, and we sucked, but I think we were better. There were some better songs than this. I think I sent one of my songs to JC. I think 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
Hmm.
He's still trying to forget my song, and yes, it was bad. But we were a joke band, so yeah. That's what I think when I listen to this. It's weird. So let's go to round two, uh, where we name the worst songs, and we can pick 4 songs. So Chili, take it away.
Yeah, certainly. Let's go, eh? So I'm going to begin off with 5-0. Let's go. This woeful piece of existence of music. This music isn't just divorced dad rock. I feel like this is a whole new level beyond that. It's like divorced drunk dad's garage rock band, and it's a whole new untapped
I would
genre
say
that
it is
Thor.
3-time divorce. That rock.
3-time divorce. It's a whole new updated genre, and the only way I can see this band performing in a live setting is in a garage. The minivan's been moved out of the way. The oil stained rugs from underneath it are just in the middle there. You got about 50 empty beer cans crushed and laid around the place. The band's playing loudly, not because they want the neighbors to hear, but it's just so they can hear because they're slightly deaf. And they've got probably some DIY smoke set up with a little laser show going on. And they've got the garage door open, but the neighbors' kids are just playing soccer out the front because no one gives a shit about these guys playing their music. And, you know, 5-0, let's go. I don't give a crap about this song. It is such a woeful, terrible song that I just don't even know. Half like we're saying, half of this is new material, and the other half is like demos and B-sides and shit like that. And if this is part of the new material and it's bad, then what does that tell you about the demos and B-sides that were left off? And I will get to that in a minute. So that's my first one. It's definitely going to be 5-0. Let's go. The next one, Piece by Piece. This song is technically outlawed by the This song is technically outlawed by the UN for being used as an audio torture device, I think. Was the story really captivating to anyone? Nobody wants it. Nobody needs it. Nobody loves this song. Nobody will give it another look. There will only be peace when all physical copies of this album join the same gravesite as the ET video games from the Atari days.
Hey, I had that game.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I think I did
You
too.
probably
Yeah.
have this album. Flight of the Striker. I think everyone's gonna pick this freaking song. It's just this was an
Hey,
unreleased
man,
song.
looking at you, this looks like a jacked up version of David Lee Roth.
If you see another photo of him from a different angle, he's got this weird like concave stomach thing, and I don't know if he's kind of got something wrong with him and he's always been wearing that belt. Because he
Look at
kind of
him.
reminds me of he's always got that belt on him. He's always got this big belt and looks like a wrestler from the 80s as well.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Looks unnatural.
It's very unnatural
Oh
if
no,
you can see it from...
that's Dolph Lundgren, man. Where am
Yeah,
I?
that's not him.
Dolph
That's not
Lundgren.
him.
Damn.
Oh, I don't want to know your
He-
Google search
He was
history,
with
mate. I don't...
I saw a picture with Lou Ferrigno, right? With Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk in one of those like little pictures in the bottom. But yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that probably would be it. But yeah, Flight of the Striker, this is an unreleased song from 1987, and I can understand why this was an unreleased song from 1987. It certainly feels unfinished, and it feels like it was left that way after the 37-year gap. If this is the music you listen to when you were, it feels sorry. If this is the music that you were going to listen to when you go off to war, then I don't fear you. This is just terrible shit. Strike Eagle, Strike Eagle. I can't get that echo out of my mind. That's just terrible delivery on that whole vocal section. Also, why does Thor sound like a pack-a-day smoker being reamed by a pineapple on here? He just struggles to hit those high notes, and I use air quotations for high notes because his vocal registry is very small. Probably saying a lot about people in the field, but anyway, Flight of the Striker. Absolutely shit house song. And for the fourth one, I guess we were going to go four, so I did pick one. No Time for Games. Is this a ballad? Holy shit. I thought it was the sound of a giraffe giving birth. After being it's you're better off being the giraffe, to be honest, because you got less chance of a head injury compared to listening to this song. Also, the production on this song is fucking atrocious, and I don't think this was an unreleased older song. What happened here? I don't know. So, what the fuck were the band smoking when they recorded and heard this song back? Oh, wait, I assume they heard it back after they recorded it. So, my four picks.
Yeah, good one. So what about you, Nick?
I also chose Piece by Piece. And I didn't actually notice at first the title with the different spellings of piece by piece. And then it was so horrible when he was singing. It's like piece by piece. It was something else listening to this. And
It's
again, like they
weird.
don't. Yeah, it's weird. And the when he tries to do these ballad type songs, it doesn't really work
Nah.
with songs like this. And then also, it's the performances as well are so limp and lifeless on every single song, and it feels like sometimes when you go see a bad band at a bar or something, and you never know if it's going to go off the rails, if the drummer is going to miss one of his fills, or the guitar player is going to mess up the solo, and that's kind of how this feels listening to this throughout it. And the guitar tones sound like something coming out of a bad PV amp from the year 2000 or something. It's like there's really horrible tones on
He's
there.
looking at you.
Yeah, it's got his eye. I mean, that's actually
You know,
very scary.
it's like seeing those drunken players when they fall over live on stage. That's Thor,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was Piece by Piece was one of the worst ones on here. I also picked 5-0 Let's Go, which sounded like it's going to get a lawsuit from the Ramones estate very, very soon, because they're
They're all
very much
dead, but yeah, someone should
Yeah,
sue
they're all
them.
dead.
yeah, like I said,
Only
the record
only
label
only
or
Linda will
something.
sell her.
They're
Sue her.
they're like this. They're 6 feet underground going like, no, stop it for, please.
Yeah, it's like I know,
Fine.
just turn it
No,
over.
no.
Yeah, it was it was really, really bad. And again, he's singing out of time with the band. It sounds like he doesn't quite know how to sing with the band in time together, which is generally what you need to do when you're in a band.
Yeah.
But
What the fuck is time? We
yeah,
established this with Trap. Like
yeah,
you don't need
Yeah.
to be in time with the band. You just need to sing.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
timing's overrated.
But the pathetic thing is that because there are some older songs on here from the 70s and the 80s, it just proves that he hasn't gotten any better in 20 to 30 years of being a musician. It is exactly the same. There is
50
no
years.
50 years. It's like most musicians would at least make some sort of progression and sound a little bit better. He does
Mm,
not. And so I picked a couple of the demos on here. So Had It Been Another Day,
yeah.
if it wasn't good to release back then, if this was an unreleased song, why are you releasing it in 2024?
Which is the song that has like, there's a song that has like the most obnoxious cowbell ever, and I can't remember which one is it.
I know I
Yeah.
had that in my
What was
notes
it?
here. Oh,
Had it been
Unlock the
another day?
Power.
Oh,
Unlock the
unlock the
Power.
power.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Unlock
I
the
yeah.
wrote
Power,
down
that-
cowbell. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh
wrote
my
that down.
God.
Cowbell. More cowbell.
More cowbell. And then I picked. Did you guys listen to the Extreme, which was an unreleased song from 1999, and it
I
sounded
tried
like
to avoid it.
there was like rapping on there. It sounded like really bad Beastie
Too
Boys.
legit to quit.
Yeah. So I'm like, what is going on with this song? It sounded so out of place with the rest of the album. Not to say that there was like some cohesive
Album. We're using the
yeah.
term
I
album
was
loosely.
gonna say the album, the
Frankenstein
record.
album.
Yeah, exactly. So those are my four picks.
Mm,
I
mm.
would say good ones, but neither one is good. So what about you, JC?
Okay. I'm gonna say some of the same, but I'll pick one nobody picked yet. Track 2, Lightning Rod. It's like a new wave, post-punk, and I'm listening to it, and at first I'm thinking it sounds a lot like Do the Time Warp from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes,
Like
yes. I
it
said
kinda-
Rocky Horror
and
Picture Show too.
that's
Yeah.
that's what I got from it. Yeah, and I'm thinking that they're trying to be like goth, like Sisters of Mercy, Bauhaus, like those types of goth rock bands from the early 80s. And then I'm still listening to it, and then I'm thinking like they're trying to sound like the B-52s with Rock Lobster or something. I kind of got that from it. And so it was just like they're trying to like make a goth song, which kind of sounds very like that doesn't really make sense like when you're Thor. But the next one, I know everyone picked this, but I gotta talk about it. Piece by Piece. It's like outlaw country with a disco beat, with like heavy metal, and I gotta tell a story. Like he writes a book, he takes it
Yeah.
to a publisher, and the publisher says, "No, I don't want it." Like then he like rips it up. So that's the first part of the song. He rips it up like piece by piece, which is the Piece. So he puts the book in a time capsule. He buries it. They find it 1,000 years later. The people read the book, and the words were so profound that world peace was achieved and all the countries came together, and they came together piece by piece. So it's bad, but kind of entertaining because it's just like
Oh,
how do you come up with that story? Like it's just it's that's just what it is. My next pick, No Time for Games. That's like an 80s style power ballad, but he used like a lot of auto tune on that. I think like he just like just to get his voice to sing like for that type of
Because of the
song.
cigarette smoking.
Yeah, the lyrics are like also generic, like no time for games, no second chance for this romance, like that one. It's just all stuff that's been like rehashed before. And yeah, I also like wrote down the last song I want to talk about, to the Extreme. It's a rap song. Now I'm thinking it's gonna be like a Vanilla Ice cover, but it wasn't. It's like him doing gangster rap, and all these like the lyrics are like just so generic. Like at one time, like one of the lyrics he says, "On and on to the break of dawn," right? And like I've heard that. I've heard that before. I know I've heard
You
it
didn't
somewhere.
grow up in
Actually,
Canada, you know, the
I had to
hoops
look
in
it up. It was
Canada.
actually the person who came up with that was actually LL Cool J. But I don't know. I think it's just one of those songs where he just said, "Hey, let me try doing rap," and then it's like, okay, he does it in one take. He records it, and it's like, okay, I'll put it on the album. That's kind of what I got from it. But
The gangster rap scene in Canada was very big.
Well, I
all
remember
right, so
a
that's my
rapper
four.
from
Yeah.
Canada, Snow, right?
Oh
What's his
yes,
Yes,
no. Yeah.
Informer,
It's
yeah.
all my blood, lick it boom down. But
Classic.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember him. When I first listened to that song, I thought he was Jamaican, and when I said like he's white, I'm like, he's white?
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
couldn't believe that he was white. And
Yeah.
yeah, I really, but yeah, you know that there's so many bad things on this album. So yeah, 4 songs, and for the last song, Nick will help me with some guitar playing because I want to do it
Oh dear.
in song form.
Okay, you really want me to grab my guitar?
Yes, for the last
Okay.
one.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
we are doing it in song
I'm
form.
seeing I'm seeing a human defecate live on screen.
So, but it's for the last one, the last pick, which I think everyone will know will be. So the first one I pick is 5-0, Let's Go, because this is like the worst Ramones cover I've heard in my life. When I was listening to it, I'm like, oh my God, what is this? It's an insult to the Ramones. It's just atrocious. I pick one that no one has picked, Bring It On. That one,
Yeah.
it's like, I'll bring it on. And he sounds like this drunk guy, like, I'll fight every one of you motherfuckers here.
I believe it.
Like, I'll fight every, like 4 songs, and he'll be like, I'll fight you. And you'll be like, oh, Grandpa, please sit down. You're going to break your hip, please.
It's the last time I give him any licorice schnapps.
Yes. Which one is the one with the cowbell?
What was it?
Unlock the power.
Unlock the power.
Oh, unlock the power. And every time he's unlock the power, and the cowbell's like bang, bang. And it's like, I'm like, it's like the worst. It's like the loudest cowbell ever. He's like bam, bam, banging, and I'm like, oh my god, I could just picture Christopher Walken, but saying less cowbell, less cowbell. It's too much cowbell. And the last song, I think we all picked it, is Piece by Piece. Uh, and uh, and I want to do this in song form. So Nick, uh, play some shit up, man.
Why, like a riff or something?
Yes, like a riff, anything. I wrote a book. It's a good book. Bad books need love too, and also songs. The publisher said, fuck no, take this CD, shove it up your ass. It's that bad. It's really that bad. Note by note, piece by piece. What the fuck is this shit? Yeah.
There you go.
We just needed a cowbell there.
Oh,
Yeah,
just a yeah,
exactly.
cowbell. Ding, 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 ding.
And after that, there's only one man on the internet that rivals Thor, and I think they should tour together. And he has a song that he's like, "I'm better than you. Don't need to tell me I am better than you." You know who I'm talking about, Chilli. I sent you the reels.
Oh, yes. Oh my
Oh, yeah.
gosh. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Funny
yeah, yeah.
story. I shared one of his videos on my Instagram Shieldon account, and I put, "Should I interview?" And the guy wrote to me, and he's like, send me your stuff." And I sent him some interviews. I'm thinking, oh God, now I'm gonna have to interview him. And he's
Yeah.
like, "I watch your videos, but I've decided that I do not want to interview right now." I'm like, okay.
Did your
But
favor.
yeah, the Thor
Oh,
and
yeah.
that guy should tour together. It will be a tour for the ages. So yeah, those are the picks for the worst songs that from this album. So let's go to the third and final round where we say our last thoughts about it, and we say thumbs up, thumbs down, or I
Mm.
would say sideways, but I don't think it's needed here. So what about you, Chili?
All right, here we go. So my final thoughts in regards to Thor's little album here. I want to, I guess, quote Power Thirst here. When God gives you lemons, you find a new God. Only this album isn't a lemon. It's the lemon tree that spawned all bastard lemon trees that have ever existed. I want to give my ears a medal after listening to this album again. Because, yeah, I did a review on this a long time ago. And if anyone who hasn't watched it before, it was called the worst album I have ever listened to. You know, they might, my
At least
ears
I
might
know.
even need it. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's got 33 views or something, which is probably the entire Thor fan base. So, anyway. Um, I think my ears need a tetanus shot, two of them, one for each ear after listening to this drivel, because yeah, like I said, it's pretty average. So, like I said in my review, and I will quote one thing from it, I would prefer to listen to the latest Kid Rock album than this album because, I mean, at least Kid Rock served some kind of semblance of decency. And I called the Kid Rock album the audible equivalent of listening to a used condom. So, that gives you an idea on how I stand on that Kid Rock record.
He's looking
Um,
at you and he's saying, "I'm gonna kick your ass, Chili. Bring it
yeah,
on."
exactly. Kid Rock loves me. That's why he goes and checks out my channel often. But I even have Lemmy here back from the dead, and he has something to say about this record, everyone. All right. What we have is Lemmy, and he thinks this record, he doesn't like it, everyone. He just does not like this record. I guess Thor should rebrand himself as a new god, and of course call himself Loki, because that is where this album lands. Like they say, misery loves company, and we are all putting on brave faces here to hide our misery on this panel. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This is the worst album I have ever heard, thumbs up. No, I'm joking. Of course, it's thumbs down. I would rather pleasure myself with a belt sander rather than listen to this album again.
That sounds like a good thing. So what about you, Nick? Do you want to do it in some form?
Well, yeah, it's like, this album is horrible, yeah, no, this is definitely a thumbs down for me. It was a little bit, I don't know what was worse. Was it listening to Trapped? Was it listening to
You
this?
could be like,
This,
today
this,
is gonna
this
be the
one.
day that my hero is gonna back to you.
Yeah. But yeah, it was very, 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 very bad. And again, I'm ashamed that this guy is Canadian, and he's like, I can't get over that he's making us all really look really, really bad. The only thing I can say is that thankfully the songs are pretty short overall, so the amount of assault on my ears and my senses was limited on a song to song basis. But overall, the listening experience was really, really harrowing. I think anybody, we all listen to albums and review them on our channels, and sometimes when you're listening to an album, it can be very, very hard to get through. And again, I had to take some really, really frequent breaks to go listen to some Oasis or something I liked, and then come back and listen to this, and then continue to just hate myself during the entire process. So
Do you go and
it's
listen to
thumbs down.
Trapped?
Yeah, I'm like, I
You
gotta
listen
go
to Godsmack.
Yeah, listen to Godsmack, and all the worst things. Yeah, for sure. So that thumbs down for me.
Yeah. What about you, JC?
Yeah, it's a thumbs down. It's just the kind of thing I don't really think I'll ever like want to listen to, because it's just I don't know. It's just like I don't know what it's trying to be. I think it's just some guy just making music because he feels like it. But I mean, like, he's just like doing whatever comes to mind. He's not like really like putting in any effort. He's just like, okay, I have an idea. Let me just like record this. Well, I will say, I mean, there are some albums that we've listened to that I'd say are kind of like difficult to get through, whether it's like 6 Feet Under or like Metallica's Lulu. But this kind of has like a B movie quality to it. Some songs. So I don't know. I think like it might, maybe like every now and then, I think I might like to listen to piece by piece, because just that funny story. It's like it's like watching
It's so
like
bad,
Plan
it's
9 from
good.
Outer Space. It's just one of those things. But otherwise, like, I don't really feel the need to listen to any of his other albums. I don't think anything is going to be like better. Like, and I did a count like while we were talking. He has, I think, 29 albums.
Oh my God.
So I
Oh,
don't know.
fuck that.
I don't know if anyone's going to ever like get through those, but
Like, people in the comments, who will do a ranking of the 4 albums?
I don't even think Thor got through the albums, and he wrote them, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
so
would have been
anyway,
cool. Yeah,
thumbs down.
it would have been
Oh,
cool
yeah.
if maybe if like he had like a song like if it was like Arnold, it would be like, it's not a tumor.
This album is a tumor.
Like, get back to the chopper, baby, or something like that. But no, obviously, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. This is a supreme thumbs down. I think this is one of the worst things I've heard in my life. I'm like, is this a joke? I'm like, what is this? And then the guy, the thumbnail, the picture that I used for the thumbnail, it's golden. I was thinking, should I put one of like when he was like all buff, or now? I'm like, no, I'm gonna put what he looks like now. And he's like with the hammer, and I'm like, it's like a bad cosplay band playing in a comic book convention, and they're playing this, and no one is giving a shit. So yeah, thumbs down. This is atrocious. So yeah, we want to know from you, Couchers, what do you think of this album? And I'm announcing I have a new series that I did a poll and people voted, and the new series that I'm thinking of doing, that doesn't mean that Is It That Bad is going away. It's called Should Have Been Bigger. And we'll take like one band that maybe wasn't as huge, and we'll talk about the band, and at the end we'll say like it should have been bigger, or it was fine that it wasn't bigger. So that's gonna be a new series coming soon. I have a few bands like in mind, and like on every episode, like every guest can pick a band, and we'll like for example, JC can pick a band that he really thinks is like should have been bigger, and we'll listen, and we'll try to listen to most of their discography. So in this case, these episodes would be like less because we would have to listen to all to see. Depends on the discography of the band. So that will be coming soon. And yeah, so before we leave you, I could Nick play something. We'll leave them with a tune.
Okay.
Some albums are just bad, but we take one for you couchers. This album was really bad, but sometimes bad albums need love too. See, I can sing out of tune too.
Yeah,
Give me a
exactly. This is
record
an album in the
fucking deal,
making.
man. So yeah, people, everyone, if you haven't listened to Four, I dare you, listen to this album, please, and comment. But I would warn you, like, do not do it. So, coming up next for Is It That Bad? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how we can top this. But I know I know there's some newer albums coming out in a few months. So, we're going to. I'll do the new Falling in Reverse, and The Offspring also has an album coming out in a few months.
Yeah.
And I listened to the single and it's atrocious, so probably
it's
we'll
bad.
do that as well. So people comment, what if there are other newer albums that you'd like to cover or obscure stuff, let us know. So I want to thank,
Hector, I want to make a suggestion for your first episode of the new series. Do it on Thor.
No. I would think that would be a short episode. The answer is
Very
no.
short, yeah.
No, yeah, no, I was thinking, a band that I wanted to talk about was a band called Trust Company, which is like this band that was in the new metal stuff, and they were really good, but they weren't that big. So I was thinking of that. And I think Nick told me about like maybe Third Eye Blind, because they had like a huge first album
yeah.
after that. So yeah, so like I'll put like if you want, everyone send me an email with bands and we'll do a poll, and the first episode will be with the one that gets the most votes, and we'll do that soon. So
Upcoming.
people, yes. So people, if you haven't, please subscribe to my panel's channel. First of all, you got Live Listening Erase. Subscribe to his channel. Send him for memorabilia. They should send you all his albums, like for you.
Let's just send me all the Thor memorabilia. I just want Thor albums from now on.
All the four memorabilia. And he does the Live Listening Erase. We're doing newer episodes soon, so that should be cool. So subscribe to him, and also subscribe to Nick Zeno. I know I'm gonna do a album review in a few weeks on his channel, and he was a good sport in taking out his guitar.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's always fun to play a little musical accompaniment.
Yes, and be honest. Did I do it better than the guy who sings in Four?
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh my!
Yeah.
And I suck. So
you're the Puerto Rican Thor.
The
Puerto Rican Thor.
I'm Captain America.
El Capitino.
El Capitino. So subscribe to Nick Chino's channel. You know, he does album, like he sings some songs, and he also do a lot of rock album reviews. And of course, JC Rock and Metal reviews. He's got the history. I know he's going to do a deep history of Four on his channel. He'll go like album by album, like this is the history of this band. I don't. If someone would do it justice, it would be JC, or maybe JC. You could do like a cappella cover of Piece by Piece. Yeah. So subscribe to his channel, and finally, my channel. I got some cool interviews on the way. There's a huge band that I'm interviewing. I should say, but you know, they're called Amorphis. So I'm interviewing Amorphis on the channel. I don't know who yet, but I'm going to interview them. So I'm stoked about that one. That will be soon. And of course, more Is It That Bad in the future, and should have been bigger. I'll post a poll this weekend. So people, everyone who's here, send me an email with like bands, and we'll post at least a poll with 5 or 6, 5 people, and the first 2 episodes will do the bands that get the most votes. Well, how about that? So, and please subscribe to my channel. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm to get to more people like yourselves. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and we'll see you on another episode of Is It That Bad? Thank you and goodbye.